Welcome to the Gig So podcast. I am Chad Borquin, and I am here with my buddy Jaron Bell. Thanks for joining us, Jaron.
Man, thanks for having me, man. I'm so excited to be here, and I've been seeing some clips, man. So I reached out, and I'm so glad that we got some time to do this, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, you know what I'm excited about was you and I were talking a lot for a while there,
Hmm.
and then you were working on some different projects, so we didn't talk for a while. So at the same time, we're catching up the rest of the world, at least on my viewers. You're catching me up, so I don't have any idea what we're going to talk about, which
I
is
love
awesome.
it. I love it. Hey, just spur the moment as it
Yeah.
happens. I like it.
All right, dude. Well, let's just get into what's going on with you right now.
Man, I will say I had to give up my illustrious career as a fitness model. It just wasn't working out. So we a lot of weight limits, so I had to step away. But no, man, things are great right now, man. I am so blessed, and God is so good, man. Recently, I think the biggest news, I guess you'd say, is about 3.5 weeks ago. I guess, yeah, it'd be about 3 weeks ago. I went up to Nashville, and I signed a distribution deal with CDX Nashville and Sony Orchard. That has been exciting, and
Yeah, it is.
and that was a decision that we talked about for a couple months, and and honestly, since the last time you and I talked, it was, one of the things that you and I've talked about in the past was really just finding, I do kind of a lot of different things and figuring out what that package looks like and what that really is. And I tell you what, man, I like to think that, man, I found the sweet spot, brother. I found it, and so, yeah, we released some music about 90 days ago, and just for some, I'm sure you have some artists that listen to this, so metrics matter, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
we went from, I think I had 4,000 followers on my Facebook page, and in less than 90 days, we've done over 850,000 views on that Facebook page, and
Oh man.
a little over 10,000 followers on that page, and TikTok's up to we're right at 30,000, so I think it's 29. Not that I know, but it's like 29.7 something. So we're about to hit 30,000 followers on TikTok, and it's just been awesome, man. And it's been I signed my first brand deal, which is funny because it's a true story. It's a nutrition brand. It's a true
Nice.
story.
Yeah.
So shout out to Dive Bar Nutrition. We want to give a shout out to them. They have
Okay.
awesome breakfast bars that are incredible. And so yeah, man, it's honestly been a bit of a roller coaster. It's kind of all happening fast. I told somebody the other day. They said, man, all this stuff has happened for you overnight. And I like to say, well, I'm glad it took 11 years for me to find some success overnight.
Right, right. You could define a lot of careers that way, where it seems overnight, but man, if you get behind the scenes. So you said everything lined up. Let's talk about what that means, because you're like, I mean, last time we talked, it was comedian, musician, not necessarily in that order, but you were marrying these two things together. Is that
Yeah,
what you're still doing, or what's happening?
yeah, I think that is absolutely how I would explain it. I think if you were to say, hey, what is it that you do, and I would tell you that it's country, gospel, and comedy all at once.
Okay, nice.
So
Very
it's country.
niche. Yeah.
Yeah, it's country music. But the biggest thing that I've noticed is, I've got some dates at some venues at bars. We're still out here honky tonkin'.
Yeah.
Just instead of bringing whiskey, we're bringing Jesus with us. So that's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, I've been playing churches, which is kind of fun. So, yeah, all this circles back to, I'm very deep in my faith. Since the last time you and I talked, I had just gave my life to Christ, and I became a pastor. So I have a little church here out in Kansas, and
Mm-hmm.
and then it just kind of started. What I recognized was it kind of felt people would come and see me play, and they wouldn't say, man, you're the greatest singer I've ever heard. And don't get me wrong, I think I'm very blessed and can hit some big notes, but they would always say, oh, man, that was the most fun I've had. That was so entertaining.
Yeah.
And so what I realized was, and I think sometimes as artists we do this, is I tried to get into the mold of, I've had 3 songs in the top 50 on the Texas music charts, right? Because that's where I'm from. But like, we get in the rat race of, okay, I make a single, I get a radio promoter, I play honky tonks, I do that. And then what I realized was, I love playing Neon Moon, but I don't want to just play that forever. Like, that's not what I want to do. And people came and watched me because they liked to laugh and were impressed by my voice and had a good time. So I was just like, I'm going to lean into that. That's what I'm going to lean into. I'm going to lean into the experience of coming and getting, and hanging out. Just come hang out with me. Let's hang out. Let's have a good time.
Yeah. So in part of this process, it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you just you started to really recognize who you were, not as just an artist, but as a person. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
that's a big part, man.
Yeah.
I think that it's actually, that's a really good point by you. Like, what I found was, I have a song called Missing You that's it went to number 22 on the Texas music charts. It's got 10,000 streams or whatever, and it was a great song for me. But the reality is, you come and listen to me sing that song, but if you were to meet me before the show, if you were to talk to me before the show, and then I went up and I sang the love song about the brokenhearted guy, they don't line up. Right? They don't line up. That's not who I am. I'm here to have a good time. I got this whole bit right now that we're doing, and I started talking about, I made a joke one time. Somebody said, "Man, I can't believe that you're playing in churches. That's cool." And I said, "I know, because you'd think I look like I was baptized in barbecue sauce, right?" And I was joking, but then like the person laughed, and I was like, okay, people, and I'll tell you, social media has been the biggest understanding, because when I would post, me playing a Vince Gill song, singing real cute, I'd get 1,200 views. But I'll tell you, you want to know the real moment that I realized, the aha moment that I had? That aha moment was, I made a video. I saw a video of Dave Ramsey, right? We all know who Dave Ramsey is. So Dave Ramsey was in a video, and this whole video he's talking about, like, I've met people that made this much money, and I've met people that made this much money, and they're happy or not happy. And so he's doing this whole video. And so I just took, what I thought would be funny is I took the video, and it said, he goes, I met people that made $30,000 a year, and I've met people that made $130,000 a year. And the video cuts to me, and I said, "Man, I met a guy one time that had a wooden foot. That's a true story." And that was it. But that video did 2.6 million views on Instagram.
Wow.
And so in that moment, I went, that's why people like what I do. That's what connects with people. But as an artist, what I realized was, I can make a baptized in barbecue joke and have you listen to my song Letter to Jesus at the same time. So I'm just, yeah.
Well, and obviously, I mean, you signed a deal, right? I mean, somebody thought this was a good idea besides you.
Somebody did.
So, so how did that come about? I mean,
so I reached out. It all started because I reached out because I had this song. I put out a song independently called Letter to Jesus, and I put that song out. I guess it was 60 days ago. I think it was, it had to be 60. I don't think it was 90 days ago. Probably 60, 70 days ago. And I put the song out, and the reaction was just, and I had social media stuff happening. Like, the Dave Ramsey video happened. I made another video where there's this real pretty girl, and she's like showing off her butt on purpose. And she's like, "This is a Thunder Nova 51 laser." And then it cuts to me, and I'm doing the same pose, and I'm like, "These are my golf clubs. They ruin my mental health." And then that video did 2 million views. And so it just kept going. And then when I released the song, the momentum kept going. People started latching onto the song and stuff happened. And so then I had another song that I wanted to release. So I reached out to CDX to be like, hey, I want to put some music out, you know? And they, you know, amen. I had started talking when all the social media stuff, no matter what anybody tells you, you don't have to live in Nashville for them to come get you. Like, if you do the numbers, they're gonna come find you. Like they're gonna come find you. And so yeah, we started having conversations about that, and then I actually reached out to Joe Kelly, who's incredible. He's the CEO over there at CDX, and I joke. I honestly I sent it over to Joe with no expectations of signing a deal. I sent the info. I said, "Hey man, I've talked to 3 or 4 of these small labels. Do you know some of these people in Nashville? Can you just give me some heads up?" Because he seemed like a pretty nice guy. And he reached back out to me and he was like, and he did. He said, "I wouldn't work with this person. This person does a pretty good job. I've worked with them before. They do a great job." And he said, "But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking at your socials and look at what you're doing. I think we would be interested." And that conversation just kept running, and and then I told him I was already going to sign with you. Then he invited me up to play at I got to play CMA Fest this year for the first time. And he was like, "I can get you at CMA Fest." I was like, "I'm on my way."
You know, that's something a lot of musicians that I'm in the circle I'm working in, we talk about a lot is like when you really get authentic with who you are, then it just kind of becomes a supply and demand thing, right? Which you just verified that. I mean, the demand, you created a demand or supply that people wanted, and now the demand's here, and the people that have the money to catapult you forward see that, and you doesn't sound like you forced any of that.
No, I was definitely I didn't see any of it coming, which was really cool. I
Hmm.
mean, obviously I've been, I played in Texas and honky tonked and did the thing and ran up and down the road. I've done some stuff for you.
Hmm.
I've been there, done that, man. So none of this is. I'm definitely not a TikTok sensation. I've been out here, you know. It just. I think what you said is correct. I mean, I just found out, and I also one of the big things that I like to tell artists that ask me with. I've had some people reach out, obviously, with everything going on that I post a lot about. Is I I was willing. Look, this is who I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be funny me and entertaining, and I still have a band, but also I'm selling more tickets, having people sit at tables in front of me, and we're having an experience. And I'm selling 150 tickets for people just to sit down, and we're laughing, and but also on the other side of that, I was willing to be like, there's also going to be shows that I'm not going to get to play anymore because this is who I want to be as an artist. And so, it's a very fine line that artists have to work because being a comedian, a comedian, clean comedian slash entertainer musician that puts out music, there might be some honky tonks that aren't going to want me to play, that I might not be an awesome fit at. And I've found that there are a lot that are because I can still do country music and shows, and it's just I changed kind of, and that's a lot of the time since since we've talked now is I work to kind of refine what my new show looks like. I can do the Joker by Steve Miller Band. I just don't say I'm a Midnight Toker part, but I let everybody else say it, and it's fun, right?
Right. Right.
And yeah, it's just finding a balance of who you are and being okay that there's going to be some people that don't like what you are now, and that's okay too.
Yeah, for sure. How much of so I remember the conversation where you actually uh canceled the show, and you canceled it because of your decision to pursue your faith, which everybody in the circle I was in respected what you did there. At what point did, like, when you made that
Whew,
decision,
man.
you know, Well, let's just stop there. Why don't you just talk about that?
No, dude, you know, I'll be honest with you, Chad. It was, um, oh, I'm not getting emotional today. It was, man, it was the
Do it.
hardest thing I've ever
Do it.
done. Do it for the clip. No, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, man, because the truth is, I knew not only that I had to have that conversation with you, I had to have that conversation with 10 other people, you know. And I thought that I feel like I did it right. I feel like I handled it the best way I could. But the truth was, I gave my life to Christ, and I knew that I was going to make music for Jesus. But I'm also not I'm not a beat you over the head Bible theological guy, right? Because I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm like the picture of gluttony. I'm a big guy, you know? So I'm aware that that's not who I am. But what I realized was in that moment of time, I could not be. I needed a space that I knew I was going to be a new Jaron. I knew that that's what I was going to do, and I knew that I was going to get back to play venues, and I knew that. I knew that I felt it on my heart that I was going to get to play music still and be funny and tell jokes and do the things that I wanted to do. But I just knew that I had to give myself. I couldn't be both Jarons at the same time, and I didn't know how to. I just didn't know how. I didn't. In that moment, the only thing I could say was, man, I gotta let the other guy die. I gotta move on. I can't. Because the problem was, I could have done some of those shows, but the reality was, I knew myself, and if I was entertaining in front of people, I would have, that when we've been doing this long enough, I know as an entertainer, if I do this, I'm going to get this reaction. Some of this doesn't make me very proud of myself, but I know that I get the reaction. So I know that if I would have been in this, this journey of my faith, and I would have just went and tried to play those shows, I would have, in a minute of panic, I would have reverted to the thing that I know that works. I was like, here, whoop, I can do this. We're fine. Whoop, I can do that. And so I just wasn't willing to. There wasn't a gig out there that I was willing to sacrifice the momentum in my relationship with Christ that I was making, and you've been very nice about it. There's been other people nice about it. There's been one guy who's wasn't nice about it. Yeah. Didn't want to talk. Doesn't talk to me anymore.
There's only one.
and
yeah.
And I tried to explain, to people, and a lot of people had great reactions. Nobody was stoked, but it was also like, I would say that if I made the number 10, I've played 6 of those places again. So it was, but it was just the hardest time I've ever been through as an artist, just because we talk about finding yourself as an artist. Well, as an artist, people always talk about that moment. They go, well, you have to find yourself as an artist. Okay, well, if I find myself as an artist, that means that I was pretending this other time. Mm-hmm. So everybody that's known me before then, I was pretending.
And you have to be willing to admit that.
And you got to be willing to go,
yeah,
that's not who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want to be. And be willing to take the rejection. And rejection sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you're familiar with the Oliver Anthony story, right?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he went through a similar thing.
Yeah.
Made the call and then, but it was obviously the right call for him to become, to not keep running from his faith, to line up with who he was. And, a lot of people don't like it, but there's way more that do.
Well, and I think that there's a way that you can do it. Like it, I mean, I hate to say it, but Jelly Roll is the perfect example. Mm-hmm. He's the example. You're talking about a guy that went to jail, the whole story, blah blah blah, and now he's singing with Brandon Lake and doing those things. And I will tell you, as far as niches go, I love my new little niche, but it's kind of hot right now.
Yeah. Nice. So, what else? I mean, so what's your day look like now? I mean,
Well,
between events and shows, what are you doing with your time, and how are you building this?
yeah, I think, um, I still work full time, but that gets more stressful because I'm closer than I've ever been, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm closer than I've ever been to being able to live the dream, and so yeah, so right now it's just like today. Today I'm off work, and I have a side business where the thing that I realized was being a storyteller on social media and creating content, things like that, is something that just makes sense to me. It's just something that I've understand, and I love it, and I love creating videos and editing, and that's just something that I love. So I started a kind of a social media brand management business. Then I've got some clients, and so that's kind of the I hope that that's going to be the day job,
Mm-hmm.
and still and playing and just finding time. I'm still booking my own stuff. I'm still booking my own stuff. I do have some help. The label's helping a lot. Never underestimate the power of what an email, how much better an email's received when you've got the label
Right.
name on it. It helps.
Yep.
So that's it, man. Just I like to say that if anything, I'm working harder than I was, but I literally told this to somebody the other day. I said, I'm working harder than I ever have at my music career. Now there's just more people watching me while I'm struggling. There's just more people watching while I'm fighting. That's all it is.
Yeah. But I think that's good. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, I think what I'm witnessing just from your stories is a couple things I think are really resonating with people. Number one, we all need to laugh more, and you're giving us the opportunity to do that. Um, and the other thing is just the we all are attracted to authenticity, whether we are good at doing it ourselves or not. We are all attracted to it, and if we're not being authentic, we still watch people who are authentic and say, "Man, I wish I could be that free."
Mm.
I mean, that authenticity breeds freedom.
Yeah.
The man, we did an event with Sawyer Brown this
Mm-hmm.
last Saturday. Have
Love
you ever
them.
seen them?
No, I love them. Are you kidding me? They're
Oh
so
my God,
good.
it's Mark's the singer, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That dude knows exactly who he is. I mean, that is some of the most awkward, energetic dancing
Oh
I've
yeah.
seen in my
Oh
life,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and he's just up there, and I don't know, what is he, in his mid-60s maybe?
It's
Something
gotta
like that?
be.
Yeah, I
Gotta be.
mean, his text said he's had 6 knee surgeries on the same knee. I mean, they're up there putting baby powder on a mat that goes on the stage for him so he doesn't throw his knee out again, because he just goes crazy. And I'm watching 10,000 people in this crowd, and I'm
Hmm.
watching all ages just glued to what he's doing, because he is exactly who you know, he didn't. And the other thing noticed about him was he wrote songs to fit his voice, which
Yeah,
is
that's a big
probably
thing.
really
Yeah.
good for longevity, because there's nothing really high there. He's not screaming. He's like in his range the whole time. It's like that guy will probably die on the stage. He won't quit because his voice went out.
I
Right.
uh I opened for Sawyer Brown. I got to open for Sawyer Brown one time years ago. And my favorite memory with him was we were talking backstage, and I go, I love that song. I love Some Girls Do. I love that song. I love that song. And I said, why? He goes, yeah, I love singing that song. I said, why? He goes, because, some girls. He goes, a lot of girls don't like what I do. I was like, all right, man, all right, a lot of girls. I said,
That's
okay,
funny.
yeah, they're awesome. They're such a good band too. But I think that goes to the authentic self, right? Like he knows what it is. Like me, like I have a chicken on my hat, and I joked with you off camera about let me make sure I get my chickens are in the chickens with glasses, but it's not a ploy. I just love raising chickens. There's just something about it. I like it. I did it when I was a kid. It was my summer job. I had like 200 birds when I was a kid.
Wow.
And that was my job. I sold eggs instead of having to. My story that I always tell is, I knew I was going to be an entertainer because my grandfather got me a job with a farmer down the street, and he made me haul hay in West Texas in July for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And after that, I realized that manual labor probably wasn't for me. Right? Probably wasn't for me. And so I literally had little cards, and I bought all these chickens, and my grandfather helped me with my money, and I sold eggs, and I was, that's what I did. And so, but people might laugh at it, but also it's like, what's wrong with chickens? I love chickens, and it's just part about being you. And I told this the other day, and I think this is important for any artist out there that is like, they want to have more success on social media and they want to do stuff. The answer might, and I'm not saying that the answer has to be humor, right? Mm-hmm. I just had a video like 3 days ago. I had a video 3 or 4 days ago that I did, and it went viral. Maybe viral. It did like 280,000 views in like 72 hours. Like it just, kapow, it just went off.
Yeah.
And it's a video of a guy, and the guy's like, I don't trust fat preachers. And the video cuts to me, and I have a half-eaten corn dog, and I go, oh, and I toss the corn dog over my shoulder, right? Like I got caught, right? And when I tell other artists, and I just had this conversation, and I think this is a really good point. You have, like, if you look at the comments of that video, it was like, I know he didn't waste that corn dog, or the corn dog throw was epic, or the da-da-da-da-da-da, like all these different corn dog comments. And again, my message was still you don't have to change yourself to come to Jesus, just come and he'll heal with you, right? And so, but all these corn dog comments, and when I tell other people, I told an artist the other day, I said, you have to figure out what those corn dog moments are for you. Like for me, like, cause here's the way my brain works. So way my brain works is the number one comment on that video is the corn dog throw was epic, and it had like 1,400 likes on that comment. So then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make a reply to that comment in a video, and I know I'm getting in the weeds, but I promise there's a point. Mm-hmm. But I saw that Sonic has dollar corn dogs this week, right? I'm going to go buy 12 of them, and I'm going to sing a song into a corn dog instead of a microphone, and I'm going to have my friend behind the camera toss up 10 corn dogs behind me, and I guarantee you the video does well. It's going to go crazy. But it's finding little moments like that, and so I always, even with clients now, when I had the video, I literally, in a meeting, I said, we have to figure out what your corn dog is. Like, you have to figure out what those little moments are in social media and be willing to know that you standing there singing very seriously and you singing everything you got, people might not react to it, but you might make a joke with your dog and that might go viral. You got to be okay with that's the thing. That might be what works.
Yeah. Well, dude, there's a lot here.
For sure. I get told that a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm told that a lot. You got a lot there. I'm like, I know.
I'm always thinking like when you're talking, I'm thinking about all of the lessons in everything you just said. Because there's so much that we can learn from each other. But like, I mean, you're out there making it happen. And probably that's not even the best word, making it. You're out there allowing this to happen because you kind of stumbled onto the corn dog, right? I mean, you didn't say, I'm going to create a corn dog moment. You had a corn dog moment and said, oh, that's a corn dog moment.
The true story, the story behind the video that did 200,000+ views was I was sitting at Sonic with my 2 children. I was in the Sonic. I was scrolling on my phone and I was scrolling on TikTok. And here's a quick pro tip. When don't like anything unless you feel like you want to create with it because it'll save it for you. So my like button is like, I could make something with that. I like it. And so I know where it is. I can always go back and look at it. But I was scrolling And I literally strolled on a video, and the guy said, you know, I could never trust a fat preacher. And I was like, oh. And so I liked it. And then I thought about it. And so I pushed the red button and I ordered a corn dog. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I was taking a bite? It started out as a burger. I was like, wouldn't that be funny if I was taking a bite of a burger? And I stopped. But I was like, it's corn dog. And so, yeah, it's just, yeah. Artists have to remember this is no longer an industry. You can't just be an artist anymore. You're not an artist. You're an entertainment company. You're a content company. So you can't put out, I see this all the time. I have conversations with other artists that are friends of mine, and they're like, dude, it's incredible what you're doing on social media. And I go, why aren't you trying? Well, like, it's not really my thing. If you're an artist, it has to be your thing. That's like being a car salesman and being like, making phone calls really isn't for me. It doesn't work. So
if artist says it's not your thing, is there an entry point? Entry point, just something they can just get started on. What would your advice be there?
If it's not your thing and you don't want to like be a content TikTok, Facebook viral guy, right? If you don't want to do that, if you just want to sing, the reality is you have to be okay with getting 200 views on a video, right? So even if you don't want to be creative, and this is probably pretty harsh, but if you don't want to make creative content, you're probably not going to be successful. That's just the truth. Hate to be the messenger, but it's the truth. You're probably not going to be successful. You can be and also knowing what you want to be. If you want to be a cover band, that's perfect. You can be that. And you can make a great promo reel and post live shots and send 1,000 emails and work your butt off, right? Mm-hmm. But I can tell you, it's a lot easier to book a show when you go, I do whatever it is. I've have 5 million views on social media this year. I don't care what you say. As an artist, it's a lot more impactful to go, 8 million people watched my videos in 2024 over, here's some covers, I think it's impactful, but also knowing what you want to be. So without rambling, to answer your question, if I was brand new, first thing to do, you just have to post. It can be just you singing, because you're like, well, I don't want to film myself. I don't really like doing that. Then you should probably not be an artist. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. You should. If a guy told me one time, and I live by this advice, when I was a young man, somebody asked me, they go, oh, you like to sing? Sing me a song. And I said, man, I don't know. You kind of caught me on the spot right here. I'm not really ready. I've had a flu for a week, But this old timer in Fort Worth, Texas, he's passed now, but he was just one of those old dogs that lived down there in the stockyards. And he said, man, do you feel like you want to be a singer someday? I said, yes, I do. He said, well, then anytime anybody asks you to be yourself, you have to do it. So if you're out there and you're like, I want to be an artist, putting your cell phone up is the barrier to entry. Setting your cell phone on a desk, you're like, well, I don't have a tripod. You could set it against a milk carton. Setting your phone against a milk carton and going, my name's Jaron. Lord, forgive me. What? Mm-hmm. That's it. If you're not willing to do that, is this really what you want to do? That's the truth.
Well, and I know there's, I mean, if you get past the ability to start posting stuff, then I know there's some cheats out there that I'm not sure that they really work in the long run, where you're getting a lot of fake views. Have you seen some of that stuff out there?
Yeah. But yeah, don't buy bots. Don't buy followers. It is not going to do anything but help you. I promise you, it is more it is more impactful for you to have 400 people that like you than 70,000 people that are encoded from India. I promise. I promise it's more impactful. And that's why, and just a little about growth. We'll get into my number one strategy in a minute. But yeah, don't buy bots. Don't do that. I will tell you that advertising works. It works. And social media advertising is very crucial. And you could do it on a shoestring budget and still do well. So there's a lot of options out there, man. But yeah, it's like these things are like, we can promote your song to Spotify playlist and you'll get these opportunities at placements. Well, yeah, you might, but I don't know. I don't believe in some of that stuff, man. That's just not the way I like to do things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the way I think about it, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're more in this world than I am as far as that. But if you've got 400 authentic followers, what I'm personally looking for is just the idea that if somebody is looking for what I do, they think of me first.
Yeah.
And so that's what those 400 to me are, as far as top of mind type situation. Is that the right way to think about that, or do you think about it differently?
Top of mind marketing is the only way to look at it. That's the only way to do it. The thing that the number one rule in social media that people like to look at algorithms and all this thing, consistency is the number one rule. If you have 400 followers that like you and you post, there might only be 30 or 40 of them that like your post. Uh-huh. But the reality is, if you consistently post something, and I'm not saying you got to post 3 times a day. I don't even do that. If I'm having a good week, I post once in the morning and once in the evening. One of them's a Facebook reel every other day, and the other one is a picture of me, and I'm saying something about what's happening. That's it.
It's a static picture?
Yeah, static picture. And guess what? Hey, if you say, I'm not super creative, I don't know what to do, AI is the way of the future, brother. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm okay with saying I implement ChatGPT into everything I do as an artist.
Right.
If you can literally take a picture of me and I can ask AI, I can go, hey, it's Tuesday. I really don't know what I want to talk about, but I have a picture. What do you think I should talk about? And it'll give you 6 options. Mm-hmm. And there one will be like, you could just say that you're grateful for everybody, da-da-da. And you could say, make me a Facebook post for option 2. And then it'll say, and yeah, is that authentic? Does that make you authentic? Yeah, yes, no, I don't know. There's an argument there. But the truth is, it's your ideas you're trying to create it. So in my opinion, it's your IP. So that's my opinion. But yeah, top of mind is everything. And if you're consistent, if you have 400 people and you're consistent, you won't stay at 400 people. The algorithm will not let you. It will benefit your consistency.
All right. So number one strategy, what is it? Here we go.
Follow Jaron Bell on social media. No, that's not it. I'm just kidding. That would be a good one, though. It'd be a good one. I would suggest that one. But
learn by example.
Look, watch me. No, I'm just kidding. But the number one thing, if you said, okay, I'm an artist, I've got 2,000 followers, I'm playing some shows, I want to grow, but I don't know how to reach new audiences. The number one way to go is, people are like, okay, well, do you boost on Facebook? Do you boost posts on Facebook? Do you do stuff like that? I never boost anything. I never boost posts on Facebook. But this is what I do, and I think this is, in my opinion, in my business, this is the number one thing that took me from 4,000 followers to 10,000 and 15,000 on TikTok to almost 30,000 on TikTok. The one thing that I do is, organic content will tell you what works. What I mean by that is, if you post 4 videos right? And this one does 400 views, and this one does 600 views, and this one does 300 views, and then this one does 1,400 views, and like 15 or 16 people comment. Like that's where I'm watching. I'm not watching what happens. Like for example, when I had the video that kind of went a little crazy with Dave Ramsey, like when I saw it go and it went to like 15,000 views on Facebook, on Instagram, excuse me, it went to 15,000 views in like 6 hours, right? Well, then I know the algorithm organically told me this works. That's the only piece of content you run an ad on. Don't, as an artist, here's a shocker. I want every artist to lean in and listen to this right here. You have no idea what's going to work. You don't know. How many artists have we heard the story of, I wrote this song and I knew it was going to be my hit single, but the label wanted me to put out some other piece of poop, and that became a number one. How many times have we heard that story?
Devil Went Down to Georgia. Perfect example.
He didn't want to put it out. That's a great example.
Yeah.
And it became his hit, right? So the truth is, as an artist, you don't know what the market is going to tell you works. So don't make a video and you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to run an ad. We're going to try to sell t-shirts off of this ad. I'm going to do Don't do that. The thing that you need to do is just consistently be in a mode of posting content, and just have your head on a swivel, so that one moment where a video of you making fun of a guy that said, your one moment of the corn dog, when you see the corn dog moment happen, that's something that you can run an ad and put $40 behind. Because if you've already gotten 60 comments on a video, that has proven that it works for the mass consumer. So now you're like, okay, that's a piece of content that I want people to see. And so that's the one that you go with. I see how people all the time, they're running, I see ads on my Facebook all the time. It's like, got a new single coming out. And it's like, yeah, it's got 100 likes on it, but you probably spent $200. Mm-hmm. And the reality is, I promise you, if we looked at a metric of what that looks like, spending that kind of money to get those kind of results versus me spending $40 on a video that already has traction by itself organically, it's not even close. It's not even close.
So let's talk about the corn dog ad. What parameters, when you have to go through parameters and decide who your audience is and all those things. How did you decide that for that one? So
like in that moment, that Dave Ramsey's a better example, because the corn dog one, I didn't run an ad for the corn dog one. It just happened. But that's what I would have done. But it caught viral fast by itself. I didn't need to. But like for the Dave Ramsey video, it went to like 100,000 views in an afternoon. And I was like, oh man. People, again, when you're running an ad, you don't need to overthink that you're smarter than the algorithm is, right? Because they want people to watch things. That's what the whole purpose of that app is, right? I ran an ad when it went to 100,000. I think I spent, what did I spend? In max, I probably spent $50, right? I probably spent $50, and I did change my age demographic, because I don't really have a huge demographic like under 18. So like, I think I did my demographic of like 24 to, knowing myself, I probably did 24 to 55, right? And then I let the algorithm, I just went with their preset, because on Instagram, if you do it, it says people that follow you and people like the people that follow you, similar people. And so I just clicked that and I put $50 into it, because it showed me that it was working. And that $50, how many people can say I spent $50 and it turned my video from, and it probably only did 70,000 views from the ad, but it kept churning and people started sharing it because they were laughing at the joke, and so they started sending it to their friends and and it just kept going. But that $50, all that was just gas on the fire that was already there.
Yeah. And where'd you say that one's landed so far for
you? Don't let me lie to you here. Don't let me lie to you here.
I won't hold you to it.
No. 2.3. So, but I spent $50 and I have if you go to my Instagram, I've got a video that's got 2 million views. Or and then right next to it's another video with 2.9 million views. And I probably only spent $40 on that one. But it's not because I'm out here spending $40 on every video. I only run an ad if I know it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of reminds me of the Good, the Great flywheel concept. Have you heard that?
The Good, the Great? No, I haven't.
It's a book it's a corporate book, growth book, but called Good, the Great, but it talks about the flywheel, that the hardest thing to do is get the flywheel going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then once you get it going, it's a lot easier if you just keep the momentum going there. And that sounds like that's what happened. I mean, it was rolling.
Mm-hmm.
You threw $50 at it and it just kept going and it even sped up. Yeah. So man, such great advice. Gosh, what else is going on? I mean, we're covering a lot here, but anything else in your life?
Hey, listen.
Kids? How old are your kids?
My kids are, look, if we're going to get into kids, goodness gracious. I have a 10-year-old son, and tomorrow my son turns 12. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And then Friday's my birthday, actually.
Hey. Happy birthday.
To everybody out there watching, make sure you say happy birthday in the comments. But yeah, my children are basically UFC fighters at this point. I can't stand it. Does anybody out there with two boys? When we were having kids, I was like, oh my gosh, my boys are going to be the same age and they're going to be able to grow up. It's the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. It's the biggest mistake I've ever made. They are literally horrible human beings to each other. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. If I have them individually, my children are a blessing from God.
Yeah.
But if I have them both at the same time, God tests us all. I mean, it's brutal. And my son, and the thing that I didn't know about having kids is, and I don't know for those out there how old your kids are, but my son has now turned 12, and he thinks that because dad's a comedian, he is too. Listen, I'll tell you a true story. The other day, this kid told me I was sitting at a deal at church at a little event, and my oldest came with me. He just wanted to ride. And that's kind of cool because he can now experience what I'm doing because I'm not at bars. I could take him with me, And the nice thing about church people, they let you, but you're done about 9:00. Right. You're done about 9:00. And we're sitting there after the show, and a little girl came up to me with her parents, and this girl's 5 years old. And she goes, "Sir," she goes, why's your belly so big?" And I go, "Oh, I got stung by a bee." That's what I told her, right? Mm-hmm. And my 12-year-old son is on his phone. He literally puts his phone down. He looks at me and he goes, "How many bees were there?" I don't believe in domestic violence. I really don't. But sometimes I'm like, I get it, right?
I don't know. That was pretty quick, though. I mean, there had to be a piece of you that was like, okay, I'm a little proud of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And he's got so many of those. He goes, I told him the other day. I said, what'd I say? Oh, I said, I don't like. My wife loves horseradish, and it's the bane of my existence. I hate horseradish, right? And I said, I'll tell y'all right now. I was holding the can of it in the kitchen. I go, I tell you what, there's nothing more that I hate than horseradish. And my son from the other room goes, "And stairs." like, you little bastard. bastard. I hate you. But it's cool, man. They're awesome. They're playing basketball and football and all the things,
Yeah.
and they're in they're in private school and they're just having a great time, man.
Yeah.
It's great, but
I mean, our kids fought too growing up. I mean, my brother and I fought. My brother and I were 2 years apart, and
oh,
we
dude,
fought all the time till the last one, which was in the shop where we both just about died because of the the terrain in there.
yeah,
Dad never
dude.
kept a clean shop, but like this last, so we're at the stage now with our kids, like they're starting to let on, because they're
Yeah.
out of the house. They're starting to let on all the stuff we didn't know. You think you know everything.
Oh yeah,
And it's like, okay, they were more aligned with each other than we realized because they
Oh,
were,
dude, that's the biggest frustration
yeah,
because if I'm like, you know what? Together they're like, ha, 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 ha.
yeah,
But the problem is if I try and separate them,
yeah,
they're like, you can't keep me away from my brother. We love each
yeah,
other. It's like, act like it. I don't
yeah,
know, man.
yeah,
But kids are a lot. Gotta love them.
sure. Well, dude, man, thank you. This has been incredible, and we're gonna post all the ways that everybody can find you in the show notes and as well. But I mean, what's probably just what's the best way for people to follow you and follow along what you got going on here?
You know, I will say, to be completely transparent, Facebook is a lot more. I post everything that's happening on Facebook.
Hmm.
TikTok's like a more of an entertainment channel. It's my ESPN, and Facebook is more my Fox News or CNN, whatever you like. It's okay. It's fine.
Bipartisan.
Yeah. Your preference, right? I will tell you, dude. It's a quick funny story. I did a show the other day, and I played at this church, and I don't do political stuff. Like, I'm not a political guy, so I don't do that. But I had this little bit that I was like, I'm gonna try this out, and I go, listen, God, I go, a lot like Jesus. I don't care about what your political affiliation is. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me which side of the aisle you sit on, whether you're on the right or you're wrong, like that. And I was like, that's so funny, right? And oh my God, the people laughed, really. And then literally a lady got up to leave because she was so mad. And I go, ma'am, I forgot to tell you. She looked, I go, it's a comedy show. I'm kidding. Like, sit down. But no, so
Did she?
yeah, she stayed. She stayed.
Did she? Okay.
She stayed. She stayed. She stayed. But life's about repentance. So I just said sorry. So it's fine. But no. So yeah, just Jaron Bell and Jaron Bell Live everywhere. I like to think that you can get a little bit of every. Selfishly, I want people to follow me on every platform. But the truth is, if you followed me on Snapchat, you get me looking at my garden and like all the fun stuff, right? The
Hmm.
on the road stuff. If you look at Facebook, it's like a bulletin board and videos of everything that's happening with the label and with new songs and da da da. And then if you watch TikTok, it's entertainment. It's the jokes, the clips, so. And I think as an artist, you have to have that. You have to got to be on everything, man. You just do. So just my name, man. If you search my name, I am very blessed that Instagram, Facebook, all those things, they do have a blue check mark by it. So that's actually me if you see the blue check mark. And yeah, that's it, man.
Right on, dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Last thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a new artist or maybe somebody that's kind of been in a spot for a while and stuck, either one of those scenarios or both, what is the primary thing that you would say to that artist? What is the most important thing you could say to them?
That somebody that's just kind of stuck where they're at.
Or they're brand new, either whatever you choose. They're just starting out. Yeah.
I would say, number one, if you're going to be who you say you are, if you're going to be what you say you are as an artist, don't be ashamed to be that. Like, do it. Like, you don't have no excuse not. Let me just be clear. This is what I would tell you. You want the truth? You want my honest answer?
I do. Give it to me.
Here's my honest answer. I'm talking to that artist right now. I am a finance director at a car dealership. I have a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old. I still play shows on the weekends. I've got a social media marketing business that I run outside of that. If I can find time to create corn dog TikToks, you have no excuse. If I can find the time to do it, there's more time in your day. So the number one thing you have to do is be more efficient with the time you have. Like, and I'm not saying you got to work and not enjoy it, but that's it. So that would be my thing, is you have to do that. But here's the hopeful side. There has never been a time in human history that it is easier for an artist to explode. The reality is, people have talked about the lottery forever. As an artist, the odds of a video going viral and changing your life is better than you winning the lottery. So the reality is, no matter what anybody tells you, you are one TikTok away from your life changing. If you don't look at the example of what Bailey Zimmerman is, Bailey Zimmerman was working construction, made a video on a construction site, and the next day it had 3 million views. And in 6 weeks, he had a record label deal in Nashville and is now a national touring artist. You're one TikTok away. So they always say with the lottery, you'll never win if you don't play. You're never going to get a shot if you don't post the TikTok. If you don't post the Facebook reel or the Instagram reel, you're not going to be... You can't sit back and be like, I don't understand why my career is not happening if you won't show anybody who you are. That's my biggest advice. You have to play the game. You have to be involved.
Jaron Bell, you've been listening to The Gig Soap. Thanks, brother.
Nice.